Hey boys, welcome back to another Bleach Bracer video, and today we are over on the Reddit to talk about the new upcoming difficulty in Guild Quest, and this right here, lads, is absolutely insane. A lot of people are going to struggle on this, and I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed on this because of how insane and different this Guild Quest difficulty is going to be to the current one. What's meta in the OGQ is going to be completely different in the new GQ, I'll say that right now. So shout out to Riddler for this data mined information. We did have the maintenance last night giving us this update, but the new GQ difficulty doesn't drop until the Espada Week of Guild Quest does drop on the 31st of January, so do keep that in mind, lads. That being said, let's talk about it. What is different in this new GQ? Now, one thing to keep in mind is the fact that this is data mined, so stuff can still change. I don't think it will, but there is always a possibility that some of the values we do look at today is changed. And also, it is an optional difficulty. You don't have to do this if you can't beat it. If you're not a competitive player in Guild Quest, if you're not trying to compete in S rank, then there's almost no reason to even do the new difficulty. But I will skip this one right now. There is a chance that this new difficulty in Guild Quest does allow us to get better rewards, so do keep that in mind, lads. There is still maybe a reason to do this new GQ, but we have to wait and see exactly what the better rewards are going to be when this does drop again on the 31st. So let's talk about what is different in this new GQ again. Now, this does drop on the Espada Week of GQ. Don't think it was personally the best GQ to start this new difficulty on, but it is what it is. So Espada Killer damage times 3, that is normal. If you bring in a Espada Killer, which you should be doing, there's no reason not to. You're getting a 300% damage increase. This is the one that's different. It's these three right here. Special attack damage times 0.5, melee damage times 2, range damage times 2. So essentially, your soul bomb is now doing half the damage it used to. So in the OGQ meta, when you want to bring a character that's 5'5", 500 SP, you nuke straight to the final boss because they have weakening, bombardment, or weakened defense. Now you can't do that because your soul bomb's doing half the damage it used to be. And also, we will get to into a minute, the boss's HP have also been increased. So there's almost no way now that you're going to be able to nuke to the final boss. It's just not happening. But you might be wondering, how are we going to be able to do damage that we need to do to kill the bosses when they have more HP? We probably only still have a 1-minute timer. Well, you can see here, melee damage and range damage times 2. So essentially, if you use your strong attack, you're now doing double the damage. You're doing 200% more damage. So that's basically what this new GQ is about. You don't want to use your soul bomb. It's a bonus now. It's not really the deciding factor on how you clear the new GQ. In the old one, it was all about your side lanes and bringing a character that was 5'5". In this new one, you mainly want to prioritize bringing a character with level 10 SP that has a high berserker value and good strong attacks. So someone that released like 3 years ago isn't probably going to be that good compared to a new character right now. Let's say, for example, someone like the 1000 Year Blood War 10 years later version of Rukia, where she has a 60% berserker value and frenzy, and she already hits very hard thanks to like her whole kit in general. So characters like those are going to be the ones you want to bring. You're not doing all your damage on the soul bomb, so do keep that in mind. That's the new way we're going to be playing this new GQ. In addition to that, there is now weaken maps. So throughout this map, there's going to be 8 positions where there's going to be a weakening pool that if you walk into it for a few seconds, you're going to get inflicted by weakening for 5 seconds. Now, this also changes the way we build our characters, and also changes the way you want to put a character into your team. So characters that are just outright immune to weakening are going to be very clutch. So again, 10 years later version of Rukia and someone like Apache for these weeks more specifically are going to be the go-to character because they're immune to weakening. You can focus on giving them accessories and links that just boost their damage. But if you're using someone like 1000 Year Blood War now, or someone that isn't immune to weakening, then you gotta put some accessories and or links that make it so they are immune to weakening, because even though it's going to like nerf your damage a tad bit because you can't just give them full stam links, it's also just better because what would you rather want, lads? Would you rather your character get weakened 5 seconds into the quest and die, or would you rather them be there doing damage but a lot less damage, if that kind of makes sense? So funny enough, unironically, sometime this year, maybe, whenever this drops, you might actually see people use weaken duration links and also the food items just to make sure they don't get inflicted by weakening, because again, your 2 AI controlled partners are probably going to run straight into that pool and get inflicted and die. Your main runner, you should be fine even without the weaken resistance because you can control your character. As long as you just don't walk into the pool, you're probably going to be able to get to the sides of it, maneuver around those pools, and you should be fine. So that's basically one of the things that have been changed. So again, quick recap, special attack damage has now been cut in half. You're now doing more damage in your strong attacks, and now there's going to be a weakened pool around the map. In addition to that, and this is where the kicker comes in, oh lord, to start with, all bosses have an 80% weaken resistance. What? that essentially means your strong attacks are not going to be inflicting weakening. We all know for a fact that the current GQ right now, weakening is by far the best status on it because it increases your damage. You're also taking no damage whatsoever because they're only doing 1 damage to you, but it just means that you can clear GQ very, very fast, especially when a character can inflict weakening, a weakened defense, and or they have a bombardment special. It just means that you can clear GQ in under a second. In fact, one of my guild mates, Bleach, was actually able to beat this current GQ weak in under 1 second, which is absolutely insane. So I think the reason why they're doing this is because KLab don't want you clearing guild quests in less than a second. It kind of not gets rid of the fun. I don't really know how to feel about this per se, but essentially what this means is that your character has a 2% chance to inflict weakening, I believe, and now with this 80% weaken resistance, they're not going to do it. On your soul bomb, you have a 100% chance to inflict weakening, so if you use your soul bomb correctly and you do have a character that can weaken, if you use it on, let's say, the 4th boss and it kills the 4th boss and it starts to hit the 5th boss, if that makes sense, there's going to be a 20% chance per hit that you inflict the weakening. So you can still inflict weakening, it's just very low, and pretty much the only way you're going to do it is if you save your soul bomb for that final enemy. So let's say, for example, someone like Comfy on World Shuhei, if you save his soul bomb for that final boss and you use it, it's going to weaken his defense because that's what happens with his soul bomb. He has the debuff effect, and it is potentially going to be able to actually inflict the weakening. So someone like Comfy or Shuhei is going to be very nasty against this, because the problem with Shuhei is the fact that when you do use a soul bomb, the debuff effect only affects the ones that are on the map that time. So if in the OGQ, when you use this soul bomb, it's only going to affect the first wave, which you're pretty much one-shotting anyway. So with this new GQ, if you save your soul bomb for the right time, you're probably going to be able to do a lot of damage and potentially kill the final boss in 1 soul bomb, or at least 1 soul bomb and a couple strong attacks. So do keep that in mind. So this right here, again, changes everything, right? The 80% weaken resistance and the fact that our soul bombs now do half the damage they used to do essentially kills off some of those old characters like Muramasa, because if you don't know, Muramasa is a very bad character. He's not good whatsoever, but in the OGQ, he was one of the best characters to use for these Sniper Guild Quest week because he does have bombardment and he does weaken. So that means he hits 8 times on his soul bomb. If you had him 5-5 with 500 SP, you're hitting 8 times on a soul bomb that inflicts weakening. You're doing a lot of damage, so you literally can't do that in this new GQ because his strong attacks are bad. You're not going to do any damage with him, so he's not going to be brought. If you actually did transcend him, you kind of wasted your materials, and that's really unfortunate. Even myself, I actually max transcended my Heart Tsukishima, and now when the Captain Week rolls around, I'm probably not even going to use him because he's not going to be that good of a character. So this changes a lot of things. Again, in the old meta where you brought a character that was mainly just used to weaken, just to nuke with their soul bomb, you're not going to be able to do that now. You want to bring characters that have high berserker or just new relevant characters with level 10 SP slot, and they're going to do most of their damage from their strong attacks. Moving on from that, what has changed to the current enemies? So it's still a 5 boss stage. The 5th boss still has 10 million HP. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is the first 4 bosses, they now have more HP, which means you're getting more points. This is where you're getting your points from. In this new GQ, you don't want to clear quick. You just want to clear it. For now, you just want to clear it. If you can get to the 5th boss and you just do a bit of damage to him, you're already getting more score than someone that can clear the OGQ in less than 2 seconds. So if you're focused on staying in S rank, you definitely want to do this new GQ, and you want to make sure you have a good enough team to get to this 5th wave and do as much damage as possible to the 5th boss. Even if you don't kill it, you're still getting more points in this new GQ. In addition to that, the new enemies also have more attacks. So you can see here on wave 5 in the OGQ, he has 1,000 attack. Now he has 1,400 attack. And then it gets worse. The new enemies in GQ now have a defense stat. This is the first time we've seen any enemy in GQ or in normal PvE have a defense stat. And what this means is that normal attack characters are now almost completely useless in this new GQ. So again, going back to this, melee attack damage and range attack damage, you want to focus on bringing a character that is an SP based character because they're the ones going to be doing the strong attacks. Now for most people that try and clear as fast as possible, that have a lot of max transcended SP characters, you should be fine. But for the players out there that maybe have one character that's good for the main runner and then they bring 2 characters with flurry, you really can't do that anymore because if your character doesn't have 3,600 attack, you're doing 1 damage to them. So like PvP, where if you have a defense build and you have a lot of defense, you're doing 1 damage to that character, right? It's going to be the same in this GQ, where you're probably not going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, I'm not sure if this damage buff and also this damage buff does allow your characters to also do a bit of damage. But from my understanding, if you don't have above 3,600 attack, you're not doing that much damage. So NAD characters have pretty much been killed off in this new GQ meta. But we have to wait and see exactly how they are going to play again, because they are going to be getting these damage buffs. So maybe they're not going to do a lot of damage, but they probably still can do a bit of damage. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I think someone actually did point out right here, is that a max transcended weaken has 3,641 attacks. So you got to understand, not everyone is going to have a 3,600 attack. Actually, if you pulled for the new Renji for the Guild Quest week, you probably can't even use him because he's not going to have 3,600 attack if you only have him at level 10 attack. And again, you're probably going to have to put some accessories onto him and or links to make sure that he can be immune to weakening. So this new GQ, going back over it, you can't nuke to the final boss with a Soul Bomb. You're now getting cut in half. Your strong attacks are going to be the way you're doing most of the damage. The bosses have an 80% resistance rate to weakening, and also now in that characters just probably won't be able to do enough damage unless you do transcend them. So from this alone, I can see why people are going to be a bit disappointed or a bit annoyed that some of these characters that you've been working on are now almost useless in this new GQ. And it does encourage you to basically max transcend some of these newer characters that are coming out. And I personally, again, don't think it's a bad thing if K-Lab can keep up with the demand of giving us special move sources. With stuff like this, there's really no reason for us to not get a special move source every month. It's really ridiculous. It's not OP. It's not too much to ask for. It's just ridiculous that we get one special move source every like 3 or so months. So in a year, we get one of each color. That just doesn't keep up with the demand of the characters that we're getting, of all this power creep in a sense for Guild Quest. Again, I don't think it's a bad thing, but if K-Lab can start giving us special move source because they're giving us more hard content, then I'm all for it. But for now, it's going to be a bit difficult for these weeks because, yeah, if you don't have the right characters, you're going to struggle a lot. I will have a video up on the Guild Quest when it does come out. Now, keep in mind, I do have a max transcended 1000-year Blood War 10 years later version of Rukia, where she's going to be basically the best character for this, so I will clear it, but I know a lot of people out there are going to probably struggle a bit. Now, going back to this, though, I do want to wonder, and this is the question, right, that I don't think any people really is talking about. Firstly, it does say weaken map, right? So, in the future for other weeks, are there going to be other maps? So, maybe there's going to be burn pools instead of weakening pools. And if that is the case, maybe they're going to have an 80% burn resistance, and then that means weakened characters can still be very good in Guild Quest, and when that is happening, then a lot of people are going to be getting a lot higher scores if that does happen. And again, going back to the weakened map with the pulls, again, this could change to burn, slow, freeze. We don't know if every single week it's always going to be weakened, so do keep that in mind, right? There is a chance that it can change. And also, this right here, again, because unfortunately it's the Espada week of Guild Quest, we don't know for certain if these two damage buffs are going to be in every single week. Because this week doesn't have any range resistances or melee resistances, it means both melee and range can be buffed. But in a week where, let's say, you want to only bring range characters, if they don't buff melee damage, then it just means for 2 of those weeks where they can be used, so let's say, for example, 5th anniversary Ichigo, whenever it's buffing only range damage, he's not getting that 2 times buff, and he's not doing as much damage as other characters, where even though he can be used, you're probably going to be better off bringing a character that can actually get that 2 times damage buff. So do keep that in mind. I'm really hoping these 2 damage buffs are carried over for every single week, because that is kind of nerfing the 5th anniversary characters, if that does make sense. Hopefully it does. But with that said, lads, that was basically the video breaking down this new GQ. Again, it's very different, as you can see. The current GQ meta is to have a character 5/5 with weakening on their Soul Bomb and or weakened defense plus bombardment. I don't think I actually mentioned it, but weakened defense doesn't seem to be nerfed in this new GQ. So weakened defense on characters is definitely going to be the way to go. So someone like Candice is going to be a very good character if you do have a max transcended. She is also coming back very soon. So characters like that can actually be good because they have a high berserker value at 20%. They have good strong attacks. If you max transcend them, you can do a lot of damage on your strong attacks, and then when you get to the 5th boss, you can guarantee to weaken their defense and do as much damage as fast as possible on that final boss. Hopefully everything I did explain made sense. I did try and record this video multiple times. My voice is kind of going, so I apologize, but that was basically everything to talk about with this new GQ. Again, I'm not sure if I like it or dislike it just yet. We're going to have to wait and see. I know I can beat this week because I do, again, have a max transcended Rukia, but I know a lot of people will struggle. Again, keep in mind this is optional. If you're trying to stay in S rank, it's almost guaranteed, but if you're a casual player out there, just work on beating the first difficulty. But at the same time, there is potentially a reason to do the new one because it is probably going to be giving you better rewards. Hopefully the rewards are actually better. For me personally, I'm not too stressed about staying in S rank because even though I am in S rank sometimes when my guild is there, I end up getting an editing brush after a week of GQ. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. The weekly rewards are kind of trash. So if I'm able to get better rewards every single day just by doing the new GQ, then I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm not really going to be too stressed about the rankings. As long as I can get some good daily rewards from this new GQ, I'm happy. But that was basically the video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Again, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. I'm not sure if I like it just yet. We have to wait and see. I do like that it's changing up GQ quite a bit. What was meta in the old one is not meta now. A lot of characters are going to be different. And also, I forgot to mention it, obviously, as you know, in the next couple months, probably in March, we are going to be getting a new way to power our characters. So in 2 months' time, this GQ, what now seems impossible for a lot of players, might be doable with this new way to power our characters, depending exactly what that is going to be. Also, in addition to that, if Caleb can keep up the demand of giving us special move sources every single month, doubt that would ever happen, but hopefully in the future they have a change of heart, then this wouldn't really be that much of a problem for a lot of players at least. Anyway, I'm stalling right now. I'm going to end the video. We will have another video up later today talking about that new con event. It is a pretty cool event. Make sure you do get him. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you lads in the next one. Peace.